Hello, Piotr. We're happy to have you at the conference. So, to start the interview, let's talk about your group in general. So, Asseco Southeastern Europe has invested a lot of resources into expanding data science and AI capabilities among your internal organization. And one of the major acquisitions in the past few years was ThinkSolver, a promising Serbian AI startup, which became part of your family. So to start off with, how did you come up with the possibility of this acquisition, and how important was it for the whole group?
Well, we are scanning the market for potential topics all the time, and as I mentioned, we are very much relying on the local expertise, managers, talents. We are asking them for ideas, yes, employees as well. And if they have friends, if they see an interesting business, if they see something which is promising, then it goes to our kind of M&A department. I get a very quick briefing myself personally about it, and if we see this is promising for us, we decide to enter into very quick talks about buying the business, yes?
Okay, thank you for that. And moving a bit further on, how do you see the future of the banking and finance industry with further development of the technology such as AI, blockchain, or even going further into the future with quantum cybersecurity?
It's a tough question because I'm pretty optimistic about the future of banking because of something called trust. Yes, I mean, 10 years ago there was a big discussion whether utilities, including telcos, having a very sustainable customer base can take over banking customers and start offering financial sector services. It has not happened. And why? Now today interpretation is because they are telco, yes. They were not trusted as a financial institutions, and they were not focused to be a financial institution, yes. So I think financial institutions as such will remain. I think huge challenge for them are different fintechs and startups which will chunk into bits of the banking business, the more profitable, attractive bits, and will force and are forcing actually the banks to be more agile, more flexible. I think the future, I would see the biggest parallel to what will happen in airline industry, yes? So with the cheap airline companies like Ryanair, like Wizz Air and others, yes, EasyJet, they have enforced of the rest of the airline industry optimization, yes, efficiency and agility, and bringing the prices overall down, and over longer term, not necessarily the profits.
Going on a bit about your keynote, which was just delivered, the title of it was the importance of AI-powered solutions in taking business results to the next level. And so the question to begin with is the industry or are the companies really ready to take it to the next level?
Well, for sure they are ready to think about it, and they should consider it in their strategies. Should they do it today? I would say a lot of them no. Yes, they should still focus on their core business, on setting their objectives, on optimizing the traditional elements of their business. But depending on the industry, on the size of the business, on the data they are managing and availability of this, they should start thinking how to optimize it. Yes, bigger merchants for sure, bigger e-commerce merchants, banks. They have many ways already available how they should practically apply AI in their daily business in this region. Yes. So yes, the answer is yes, they should, but not all of them.
Also looking from a bit of a wider perspective, are we now in the era of AI believers or AI adopters? And a bit further on, how important can it be for the company to be a pioneer in implementing a new technology, and what may those benefits be?
This is a lot of words in terms of believers, adopters, a lot of definitions. I'm very, very doubtful and kind of have a big distance towards all these because I think they are fashion statements. Yes, I think data management existed before AI was created. Yes, and management is based on data. It's just how we use it, how we measure it, and what tools we have to use them more smartly. We are more and more aware about it, but the usage of data and adoption of usage of data is since beginning of management. Yes, It's just the scale of using it and the tools available to use it are growing, yes? So I wouldn't put a borderline anywhere here where we are, but for sure what we are saying about artificial intelligence and what is imagined behind this acronym by public and majority of people is way ahead of reality, how it's being used, yes? So I think we are just in the beginning of the usage of the tools, which will grow immensely and also scarily.
Let's look a bit from the pandemic side. According to the McKinsey & Company, the world has pushed forward 5 years into the future in just a span of 8 weeks when it comes to consumer and business digital adoption. What are your thoughts on this fact, and how does it impact your business and business in general?
I think it's impacting tremendously the business in both positive and negative ways. I mean, people are not ready yet for the scale of change that has happened. Let's start with the positives. It has given huge flexibility for the companies and for the employees, how they can structure their work. Yes, it has forced many old school type of managers, companies into digital, yes, including adoption of digital signature, yes, which surprisingly many institutions started accepting, and before they were forcing you to do it physically in many locations. So remote work we already mentioned, yes, so these are all huge positives, yes. I'm afraid we still don't know the consequence of remote work, yes, and this is entering a pretty psychological topic, but I think the digitalized world, which is accelerating and because of the pandemic has accelerated, is very much contributing to the loneliness of individual, yes, and we will have we already have dramatic increase, and it will be much bigger of psychological and psychiatric issues among individuals, especially youngsters, yes, and this is being observed, and I think it will be a huge problem in the near future.
With the development of e-commerce, the issue of security and privacy has risen tremendously. What has ASCE been doing lately in the field of anti-fraud solutions?
Well, anti-fraud, we have an anti-fraud solution ourselves, so we know this pretty well in Turkey, and we are investing now on upgrading the solution using AI tools, yes, to have this. In fraud, you have two elements. One, which is pretty invested into, is this external fraud, and people usually talk about external fraud, but actually a majority of the frauds happen internally, yes, and this is less invested into from within the enterprise, within the company, within the community, yes. I think there is a trade-off among the financial institutions, among the society, between security and privacy, and the societies that will be ready to give up privacy will be more secure, but at a cost, yes. And I think this will evolve into this direction, and it's a very tough challenge for the regulators where to put the borderline behind it, and who should be allowed to use the private data to control the security, yes. But I think the tools will evolve into that direction to use more and more data on our behaviors to prevent fraud.
In the end, we would like to ask your opinion on this thing. Why is it important for C-level people to attend these kinds of events? And what can you get from participating in a high-tech conference?
Well, first of all, probably for me not anymore, but sometimes it's an ego thing. It's nice to talk to people, to speak with them from the stage, but that's just like eating a candy. Yes, it's of no bigger benefit for neither your health or anything like that. So putting that aside, I think if there is an option to interact with people, to talk to some people, and to have some spontaneous or even structured exchange of thoughts and communication, or if you feel that you can share something which is important to the listeners, that's the biggest value, yes? But listening and sharing is the value, and, for me, there's no C-level, yes? I mean, people are people, there's no difference. I was one of the sitting people on the stage a couple of years ago, or maybe 20, 30 years ago, so that's just mingling and seeing how it's look and seeing different perspectives is a big value if the atmosphere is proper for it. Okay, my name is Piotr Jelenski. I am CEO of Asseco Southeastern Europe, ASE as we call, and Payton in the region, and managing this company from the beginning, from the foundation.